Hey guys, today I'm filming my monthly makeup ranking for August. I have 24 products here to rank, which is a little crazy. Some of these things are not new formulas to me, they're just new shades. So I know this is gonna be a long video, but I'm gonna try to keep it going. I am filming this at 10:22 at night. I am not loving my makeup today. It's my second look of the day, so my eyes are running. So apologize if this is a little bit of a mess, but I don't have Landon tonight. He's with my mother-in-law, so I really want to take this opportunity to film. So let's go. All the details of all the products are going to be in the description box. So I have got my favorites, my fine, and instead of fails, these are just kind of letdowns, or I was expecting more from them, but nothing here I really hate. So for my letdowns, I have 4 of them. Starting at number 24 would be the Fenty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I have 105, which is a little light for me, but this is just a very chalky powder, and I don't think this gives much coverage at all. I think that this would really have like the coverage of a setting powder, but I don't know, it just like is like blood, doesn't do anything for me. I have tried to pack it on where it is powder foundation. It wears away pretty quickly, unevenly. It definitely does not do well under a mask. And you know, the only benefit to this is that it isn't very powdery. You don't get a ton of kick up. And while I know the L'Oreal Fresh Wear powder as a powder foundation, you get so much kick up with it, you get a lot of coverage and it looks really smooth on the skin. This just does not give me enough coverage. It doesn't do enough for me, so this is something I'm going to be passing on. I don't want to take the time to use it up as a setting powder, and I would rather just use a loose powder. So this is going to go. Then at number 23 is something that I will use up but not repurchase, the Benefit Brow Microfilling Pen. I have the shade Blonde. I'm using this today. I got this half off last year, and this is the brow pen that has the 3 prongs, not just like the one typical brow pen style. And part of this is like user error in the sense that I have not really been able to get on well with a brow pen. I've tried, and I think I've just, you know, don't do my brows correctly for that type of product. But this one, I mean, I use it to help fill in my brows. It does give a lot of color, which is like the only point. Obviously it's not doing anything else, but I think I want to try the NYX brow pen again, but if I can't get into that, I probably am just going to stick to pencils. But no, not particularly special for the way that I use my brows. I just can't get it to like look like those hair-like strokes where it's just not showing up, because I do have thicker brows, but it's okay. Next is something I'm wearing today at number 22. That would be the Jaclyn Cosmetics Reflective Light Putty Highlight. I have the lightest color Iced. You can tell where I've been putting my brush, because this is a cream product. I've been using the Real Techniques setting brush, and it picks it up really easily. And I did blend it out, but I think you guys can see this kind of sticks where you put it, and it is very glittery. And when I swatch it, it looks more metallic, not glittery. So I don't know if maybe I need to try a different brush. I'm definitely not going to apply it with my finger. Or maybe it just has like a glittery layer on the top, and then once you work into it, it's more metallic, less glittery. I don't know. All I can say is how it looks from when I've been using it this month. Way too glittery on the skin. It's really intense, and I'm not loving it. I bought this with my points, and I actually considered not getting this because I really was not sure if I was going to like the formula, but just with the way the math was math and with the points, this product worked out, and some of the other things I wanted were not in stock at the time. So I do regret getting this. I don't think I'm going to reach for it very often at all. So that's a bummer. So let me know your experience if you've tried this, and please let me know what specific brushes or sponges or however you're applying it. Please leave the specifics for me. And then at number 21, Mikalya and Glamlite Volume 1 palette. Glamlite metallics are very nice. They are real metallic, very pretty, but the mattes for me leave a lot to be desired. I feel like I have to really build them, which is very annoying to me. I don't mind shadows that are like really powdery, but build nicely. I get them to show up with one layer. You guys, I'm very fair, and I feel like, especially like this lighter matte here, which is not that light, I really had to dig in there and apply to get it to really show up, which is really annoying to me. Some of the shades, like these more coral ones, showed up nicely. Some of the purple mattes were good, but you know, the blue, I was actually surprised by that blue matte. That was pretty good, but just overall, just no. So I was not in love with the Ice Cream Dream. I was not in love with Mikalya's palette. I also have the Dirty Martini, which is something that I will be using this fall season. That's the green palette. So if I don't like that one, I personally am not going to be giving Glamlite any more chances. So then I have a bunch of products that I think are good but aren't quite blowing me away. And a lot of these could like move around here in the ranking, but this is where they fell. So I am wearing this today as my foundation product at number 20, the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator in Fair. I know a lot of people really love this, but I prefer the L'Oreal True Match Nude Serum Foundation, Cali Ray Skin Tint. I just don't know why I don't love this as much as the others. I think it looks pretty, wears okay. I feel like even though I've only had it on a little bit and I did set my skin with powder, I feel like I'm looking a little oily, which I don't love. I thought about decluttering this and then I wore it and I was like, oh, I think that looks pretty. And it doesn't look terrible, but I have worn this to work where I do have a mask on and I do completely set my skin with powder, and then it does still just like not wear the best, not look amazing. So I'm gonna play with it a little bit more, but this is something I can see myself decluttering just because I have like 20 foundations right now, which is nuts. And I have other skin tint options I prefer. I have other drugstore foundations I prefer, so I don't get the hype. Number 19 would be this Flower Beauty Heatwave Luminous Bronzer. I have the lightest shade, Sunrise L1. This is a very interesting shade. I feel like it's more of like a blushy tone, or there's like more of like a pink tone to it, which I normally would not like, but I do think that it looked pretty, and it does has a subtle glow to it. It does not have an actual sheen, definitely no like visible shimmer or glitter. I think that this blended into the skin really nicely. It looked very pretty. Like I said, it's a unique undertone for me, but I do have other bronzers featured in this video that I like more. So again, something I will potentially declutter in the future because I do have a lot of bronzers, but I haven't tried a ton from Flower Beauty, and I do think that this is a good quality product. Next, number 18 is what I'm wearing on my lips today. This is the M Cosmetics Lip Cushion in On Gel, and I do like this formula. It has like a medium opacity. It has a really nice shine that makes your lips look juicy. It isn't drying, not the most long wearing, but it doesn't like totally disappear. A good amount of thickness to it. I do really like this. I really like the Magic Hour shade and Venetian Rose shade a little bit more than this one. This is not something that I would consider to be a staple in my collection. Wearing it today, I feel like it looks a little bit more natural than it looks in the packaging, and I wanted this type of color. So it's just not something that I needed to have, and M Cosmetics is very expensive, which leads me into number 17, the newer limited edition Cherub blushes. I bought these full price because I thought it was like a limited restock, and here they are still available. You can get them on sale, and these are pretty, but I like my other M Cosmetics permanent blushes better. Again, Faded Clementine, Magic Hour, Venetian Rose. So the ones here we have Cherub and Persimmon. Persimmon is an odd like yellow orange, and I think that these look pretty on the skin. They're very nice, but these are really expensive as well, and I still really like M Cosmetics. I have some things from them that I really love, and I do want to try all their new launches still, but I don't know. I think I get a little too carried away with wanting to like the things maybe more than I do, or like things that I think are good but not incredible for the price. I do wish I didn't buy these and just kept my money. Next, at number 16, I have this little sample of the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Blush. I have one of the nude colors Provence, and it's like a beigey nude with a little bit of pink in it. I am wearing this today, and I did not put any powder blush on top. because I wanted you to see the color. It's a very light shade. I thought that this blended out pretty nicely. I was expecting to really dislike this, but it worked decently well for me. And I just applied it with the pointed side of my beauty blender. I did 2 layers, and I feel like maybe it's because I had a skin tint on today, but the formulas meshed really well together. It's something that I probably, you know, might want to pan next year or something. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but definitely not something that I would repurchase. I have other liquid blushes, cream blushes that I would pick over this one, but because everybody disliked it so much, I was surprised by how decent, pretty good I thought it was. Next at number 15, this is something that I was disappointed in, but I like it more than the other things that I mentioned so far. It is the NARS Cream Bronzer. I have the shade Laguna 1, and I actually wish I went with Laguna 2 because when I put this on my skin, it's a little bit lighter than I thought, and it does have a slight green or olive tone to it, which I do not think looks flattering on me. Shade number 2 looks a little bit warmer, which I think would work better. Now, this is not near as yellow or green as Anastasia Sunkissed. I can definitely wear this and it doesn't look odd, but I just have so many other cream bronzer undertones that I think look better on me. M Cosmetics Summer, the Tarte Seychelles, and the Merit Beauty Bronzer Balm in Clay. I think that those colors work a little bit better for me, but this is a very pigmented formula. It's very creamy. I apply my cream bronzer with the e.l.f. Small Stipple Brush, and you wanna put your brush in there lightly or it will have like tons of product on it, but a really nice formula. I just wish I got the second shade instead, even though it might have ended up being a little dark for me. I think the undertone would have been a little bit better, but I saw so many reviews. I saw so many fair people use this, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. But it ended up being a little green. So now I'm wondering if the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the fair shade is gonna be a little bit too green for me as well. I might go to a Sephora store and compare that to this shade. I did compare it to that Anastasia and it didn't look that green, but I might compare it to this. So just the undertone was off, but this formula is amazing. I still will get a lot of use out of this. Sorry if the lighting or the zoom or the camera angle changed any. I bought these cheapo rechargeable camera batteries from Amazon and it was at 50%, and I literally got like 10 minutes into the video and it got to 8%. So I put back in my original battery, which is at 36%, and I think it will last me. I'm charging those other cheapo ones, but oh, what a bummer. I also did just rearrange some of my products in the ranking. So at number 14, I have one of the Pat McGrath Divine Blush Duos, and these for some reason were 30% off on the Sephora website, so I got 2. One of them I'll test next month, but I tested this month the lightest shade Aphrodite Amour. I did use these shades individually and I did mix them together. Mixed together I like it best, and I think it looks really pretty. This is like basically a matte blush. There's a tinge of a glow in here, but basically a matte blush. I think that this is pretty. I think her compact is nice. I don't think that it's the easiest to open for some reason. This button, I don't think you have to have this. I thought about maybe returning it, but then when I mixed them together, I thought it was really pretty. Not something that you have to have though. I am not the Pat McGrath stan that a lot of people are. I really like Natasha Denona a lot, but Pat McGrath, I just don't quite get it for some of her products. Nice blush, not incredible though. And then next at 13, I have some of the new Benefit blushes. I have some other ones to test out, but these are the 4 ones that I have now, and I'm just really proud of Benefit for this shade range. They have a ton of colors and they do go light but very deep as well. So now they have made the packaging slimmer, no brush, which is great. The price stayed the same, which, you know, we would have loved to have, you know, $1 or $2 knocked off, but whatever. So I wore all of these blushes once and they were all pigmented. They blended nicely. I feel like it's the same formula as before, which I think is a good formula. This shade is Willa. This one is Sunny. My favorite one is Shellie. And this really bright one is Crystah. So these are a little powdery. I don't mind that. They are pigmented, blend nicely. The Crystah shade, especially, I have to go in with really light hand, but I'm able to blend it and it looks really pretty. I really enjoyed all of these. I'm very happy to have them in my collection. I do plan on getting even more shades. I really want Moon and Starla, and then There will be like a few more after that I don't have, but I will have all the ones that were on my wish list after that. And I got Willa with a coupon, and then the other 3 I got with my Ulta points. At number 12, we have the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. This is one of her larger ones, so it is expensive, and I don't think she needs to make them this big anymore. I say, girl, do middies and minis, and that's enough eyeshadow for us, all right? And this is basically the ColourPop Yes Please palette. This one came out first, of course. There are none of those creamy mattes, thank God. I do not like that formula. So there's just regular shimmers and mattes. I think her formula is really good. The shimmers are nice and metallic. They've got that shine to them. The mattes are pigmented, blend nicely, a little powdery, which I don't mind. I, of course, didn't really get much use out of this really dark color. I love Bronzage. It's my favorite shade, but it's also in the mini nude, which I have. So basically the colors in here are very nice, great, easy, everyday warm looks. But I am a warm eyeshadow lover, so I have a ton of options in my collection, and I would just not pick this color story over some of my other warm options, but I am happy to have it because I got it half off, but definitely not something that I needed. And then at number 11, I have the setting powder I'm using today, which is the Sigma Soft Focus Setting Powder. I have the lightest shade of Vanilla Bean. Karen Harris sent this to me very kindly, and this is really nice. I applied it today, as I said, but I used one of those little Amazon triangle puffs, and my skin looks really smooth. It looks very blurred. I do think that this has more of like a matte finish to it, but I don't find it to be particularly oil controlling, but it looks good. Like, it's very nice. It does have some color to it, so for me it's not something I would really use under my eyes, but it works nicely to set my skin. It's something I would definitely use up, and as of right now I wouldn't repurchase it because you guys know I love my Derma Blend translucent loose powder so much. But who knows, maybe by the time I get through it, I will have changed my mind and wanted to repurchase it. But I do think that this is a really good product and a really good launch from Sigma. I feel like at this point, I'm just looking like a hot mess. I apologize, but we're at the top 10, very exciting. So bringing in the favorites at number 10, we have the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. This is her midi size, which is just like perfect for me. And this is a really nice mix between a colorful and neutral palette. I used every single shade in here, and I had so much fun with these looks. There are no creamy mattes in here, thank goodness. And I was just really impressed with the way that all these worked. This darker shade, you guys know I usually have a hard time with dark mattes, getting them to blend. It blended really nicely. This shade was very pretty. I was like, oh, that's kind of boring, but I really liked it. I also used, I think, these 4 together to make a yellow look with a mustard liner, and that was really pretty as well. Very impressed with this quality, and this is a great colorful palette for me. I got this half off, which is a great discount, but I had a lot more fun with this than I initially thought. Number 9 would be the Jaclyn Cosmetics Pout Drip Lip Oils. I got these with my Ulta points, and I would say you don't necessarily need more than one shade, but I am able to see on my very lightly pigmented lips the difference between these two colors. And from the swatches that I've seen, I don't think they all have this much opacity, but the ones that I picked do have a decent amount of color. This is Maple Drip and Petal Drip. I really like these because they are not super thin and slippery. They're not sticky. They do have a little bit of thickness to them, a lot of shine. They do feel very hydrating, but they do not last for a long time. I wish they lasted a little bit longer. I know they're not a gloss, so that's my only negative. I don't think that I would repurchase them. I think that you could probably pan these pretty quickly. My friend Lauren went through it in less than a month. So as of right now, not something that I would buy any more shades of or repurchase, but I definitely think that this was something that was a good use of points, and I like them more than I thought that I would. At number 8 is the M Cosmetics Sunscape highlighter, which is their powder formula. This is the lightest shade, Clarity, and it is basically like a champagne gold. And I don't love mineralized baked products because I just find that for the most part they're a little chalky on the skin, but this one was not. It is really smooth. It's very pigmented. I applied it with the Shop Miss A highlighting brush, and it looked really pretty. This is something I can only wear in the summer because it's not quite light enough for me. At number 7 is a new product. I did film a little first impression demo on my Instagram, and this is the Laura Geller Serum Blush Cheek Tint. They have a pink color and this peach one called Poppy Peach. This is a really pretty color, and I did just dot it on my skin, then blend it out with my fingers or with a sponge. I prefer a sponge, and this is buildable, but I do think that this gives a great amount of color. It is not very sheer, blends really nicely, looks very pretty on the skin. This is a great fun launch from Laura Geller that performs really well. At number 6, I have this Sigma Cinderella Cheek Duo. The highlighter is in the color Aglow, blush is in Ever After. This, I was a little scared of that would be too orange, but it's not. That looks very pretty on the cheeks. I love this highlight shade because it's a nice light color, very reflective. I love the Sigma Cheek products. Performs just as well as all of their other palettes and duos. Pigmented, blends nicely. So happy that I have this one in my collection, and I definitely will be getting the Alice in Wonderland one as well. And then at number 5, I have all of the Sigma Cheek Singles. So I have 2 blushes, 2 bronzers, and 2 highlighters. I got these all gifted to me from Karen Harris because she is so amazing. And my 2 highlighters would be Moonbeam and Savanna. I think that Savanna is a little bit more pigmented. I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe it's not, but both colors work nicely for me. Nice and reflective, but not glittery at all. I think these apply easily, and I love the way they look on the skin. I think Sigma makes a great highlighter. Then for the blushes, I have all the other singles either in the large Corday Rosa palette or the Berry Glow Cheek Duo from Holiday. So these are the only shades I didn't have. We have the matte blush Sunset Kiss and the shimmer one Tigerlily, which has been released before. I just didn't own it. These are beautiful shades. Again, phenomenal formula. The shimmer formula does not have any glitter in it. It doesn't look chunky on the cheeks. Very smooth, gives a glow, but isn't crazy shimmery. I think you can still wear a highlight with it. I love this simple, sleek compact, and they also were all a different shade. So the blushes are pink, highlights are more golden tone, and the bronzers are a shimmery brown, you know, bronze color. And I have the bronzers in the shade light and medium. You can tell that they are pretty similar. Don't necessarily need the both of them. I've used them interchangeably. I've also used medium in the hollow of my cheeks and then the light shade around the perimeter of my face. Very pigmented, blend nicely. None of these are overly powdery, which is great, but they're also not super dense, just like perfect. So this was a phenomenal launch from Sigma. I would love for them to release even more deep bronzers. And I would love to see some other blush shades as well. Definitely something that's more mauve-y, more pink, more berry. I think that would be really fun. And I think they definitely have room to expand, but this was a great start. Really pretty colors. Number 4 is a formula you guys know that I love, but this is a newer shade. It is from Buxom's Fall Gloss Collection. This is the Plumping Lip Cream in Peppermint Hot Cocoa. Just a really nice, warm shade, but there is still some pink in here. Just a really pretty color that I've really enjoyed, and I love this formula so much. Then for number 3, this is a new launch, and I think it's great. And this is the Merit Beauty Bronzer Balm Stick. I chose the second lightest shade, Clay. I'm glad that I did that because, again, I think that this undertone is a little bit better for me. I think Quince has a little bit more yellow in it. And this is just like a perfect warm color. It's not orange at all. I love the shape of this because I can apply it either this way or this way, and it doesn't, you know, get too wide, take up too much of my cheek, look muddy. And this is a sheer buildable formula, which is perfect for me with very light skin, but the colors in this range do look like they go deep. If you have a deeper complexion, I would love to hear your thoughts, and I definitely should look up some more reviews from other people to see how it works. But a great formula, nice and thin, but not too greasy. It's not thick. It just blends so nicely and is a really pretty color and super easy to apply. So this is probably my favorite Merit product that I've tried. At number 2, we have another bronzer, Jaclyn Cosmetics in Vitamin D. This is a really great, more neutral undertone for me. This does have a pretty strong coffee scent, which I don't love, but I can get past it. Pigmented, blends nicely, not too powdery, and she does have a pretty decent shade range as well. definitely one of my favorite Jaclyn products. I did try a lot of things last month that I really loved as well. Her holiday collection was slamming, but this is a very good launch. Totally recommend it. And then at number 1 is something that I am so glad that I really love, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I have the shade 1 Neutral. Thank you so much, Jean, for giving this to me. I feel like people either really like this or really don't. But this I thought was really nice. It does give a medium buildable coverage. It does have a nice like natural finish. So you guys know I usually like something more matte, but if I use my matte powders, my setting spray, I think it holds up pretty well. It doesn't oxidize or anything. This just looks beautiful on the skin. Truly it does. And I'm very happy by that. And I mean, I'm sure it will take me a long time to get through. I have so many foundations, but I like this a little bit more than her Airbrush Flawless foundation, because that one is really full coverage and can be like a little much. That one also has a little bit of a fragrance, which I don't like, but it's a really, really nice foundation. And this is really good too. So I think her foundations are really nice, and the name really suits this. So guys, this was a long video. I have got 4 different clips to add together because of my battery. I know my makeup looks a mess. I look oily. I'm not loving it, but hopefully you guys got some good reviews of a lot of products here. But I would love to hear your thoughts on these products in the comments down below. I would also love to hear what new things you have tested out recently and what your thoughts were on them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.